on everything you buy, turning all of your purchases into extraordinary travel. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
We're on Sportsmanlike here on ESPN Radio, ESPN 2. And Aaron Rodgers on Friday went to Pittsburgh, met 6 hours with the Steelers brass. And there's no contract yet. Or no agreements. No agreement.
Why would it happen on Friday? He wouldn't want to be part of a Friday news dump. That doesn't feel very Aaron Rodgers-like.
Well, okay, a couple of things on this. One, do you guys think this is happening?
Yes.
CC?
Sure.
Sure.
Sounds confident there. And do you believe now?
Sounds about as certain as Aaron Rodgers playing in 2025 does.
He's an enigma.
Do you believe Rodgers would get them closer to a Super Bowl?
No.
No.
Why would I believe that? Based on what we've seen over the last 3 years? No. Nothing about what we've seen in recent memory would tell me that Aaron Rodgers is going to elevate the Pittsburgh Steelers beyond what we've seen them do over the last half decade. It feels like a team that's poised to be a playoff contender with another early postseason exit.
I agree with that sentiment. I would love to think that we would get more of a vintage version of Aaron Rodgers and that he would come in there and be able to provide them with the quarterback play and connect with DK Metcalf in a way, and we would see a different version finally of the Steelers offense that they've been looking for so many years. But I can't put stock in that based on the version of Aaron Rodgers that we've seen over the past, let's call it 3 years since he was out in the middle there with the Achilles injury. I can't say that I think it's going to go smoothly because it certainly didn't with the Jets.
If Aaron Rodgers is a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers and if he is their starting quarterback this year, and I gave you two options as to end result. One option is they make the playoffs and they win a singular playoff game. Just one. I'm not saying two, not saying three. I'm certainly not saying Super Bowl. One playoff game. That's option A.
Okay.
Goes to the Steelers, starter, one win in the playoffs. 1-1 in the playoffs. Option B. Mike Tomlin finishes with the first losing record of his entire career.
Option B.
Wow. I'm not asking for that much on option A.
I don't understand what the holdup is, though, with Rodgers' decision. That's what I don't get. We knew who the key actors were going to be. We knew the chairs that needed to be filled when it came to QB1 in 2025. We said it at the outset. You know, what are the Minnesota Vikings going to do if they don't re-sign Sam Darnold? Are they going to turn it over to JJ? Will they go with another veteran? So there is that spot. The New York Giants, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns. We know the openings. Why is it taking Aaron Rodgers this long to make up his mind? It didn't take him this long to make up his mind when he decided that he wanted to play for the Jets. We got that in early March when he was on the Pat McAfee show. He said it was his intention to play for the New York Jets in 2023. Mm-hmm. That was what it was. Now, they didn't consummate the trade until right before the draft on April 24th of that year. But we knew early March Aaron Rodgers wanted to play for the Jets. He said it out of his own mouth. We have no idea what Aaron Rodgers wants right now. No clue. The Pittsburgh Steelers are on the board, but it doesn't seem like that's the team that was his first choice. Mm-hmm. And if it's not your first choice, if it's Aaron Rodgers settling, knowing what we got from Aaron Rodgers the last 2 years when he did get his first choice in being moved before the 2023 season, what version of Aaron Rodgers are we going to be poised to see? I don't know. That's why I can't be bullish on the Pittsburgh Steelers, even if they're able to land the plane.
The question, what is he waiting on, is a really good one because I can't understand it either. If you want to play in this league and you have the opportunity to play for a team that doesn't have losing seasons and gets to the playoffs, and you could play for a coach like Mike Tomlin. Oh, and by the way, they added a great weapon for you on offense in DK Metcalf. That seems like a favorable option for somebody like Aaron Rodgers, who is coming off a disastrous run with the Jets, where not only did you sustain a major injury, but you only won 5 games when you were healthy and everybody got fired. And it was a lot of drama and a lot of turmoil. This seems like a great opportunity for you to put yourself in a position to contend and put yourself in a position to maybe change the narrative around you if an organization like the Steelers and a coach like Mike Tomlin wants to bring you in. But this is Aaron Rodgers, and everything that Adam Schefter and others have reported is that he's going to take his time with this. And to be honest, he's in a bit of a power position because what else are the Steelers going to do? They've put their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket, and because they're committed to him and have to wait this out and wait for him to make his decision, he's in the driver's seat and can take his time.
Well, then if he's offered 20, he could certainly say 21, and then or 22, or 23, or 20, up to 30, whatever it is. But Cece, wait, I didn't get the answer.
21.
I didn't get the answer from you. Aaron Rodgers is the starting quarterback next year for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
More likely he wins a playoff game, or Mike Tomlin has the first losing season of his career.
Mike Tomlin has the first losing season of his career. I got to ask this question because we're just kicking it around.
Mm-hmm.
From a talent standpoint, are we sure that the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025 are going to be better than the New York Jets in 2024?
No, I'm not.
Even after the DK Metcalf trade?
Yes, I'm sure. I just have to default to Tomlin in that spot.
No, I said talent. I said talent, not coaching. I said talent.
Also, think about
I said talent.
Their division.
You can't make the argument that the receiving core is better. You had Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. Pretty damn good receivers.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to try to make the argument with running back with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen in the backfield versus Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell? You can't make the argument with the offensive line. Defense, the Steelers have Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick. Great. The New York Jets had all-pro players on all three levels.
Yeah, they were loaded.
They had Quincy Williams, and Sauce Gardner, amongst others. From a talent standpoint, we can't sit there and say, oh, well, Aaron Rodgers is going to a more talented team in the Pittsburgh Steelers than what he had to deal with in the last 2 years with New York. No, he ain't. Like, if you're betting on seeing a different version of Aaron Rodgers, you are making a huge bet on Mike Tomlin and giving him the benefit of the doubt. And I don't know how you can do that with Mike Tomlin specific to quarterback play with the revolving door that the Pittsburgh Steelers have experienced at that position over the last half decade.
You know what it is in some ways, and I don't know that – I probably do know that Rodgers is not thinking this way, but the way I think about it is, like, I'm sure there's people in your life where you're like, if I'm around that person, I'm the best version of myself. And then if I'm around this other person, I revert back to some of my old bad habits, whatever those bad habits may be. I would hope Aaron Rodgers is thinking, if I'm with him, Tomlin, I have a chance to be the best version of myself.
But if that's how he's thinking, why is the decision taking so long, sir?
Because
that's the point I'm trying to make.
At 41 years old, maybe he's not well.
You and I would run for the chance to play for Mike Tomlin.
I go right now.
We think he's one of the three best coaches in the sport, period.
Yeah.
Don't at me. That's how we feel about Mike Tomlin.
That's correct.
We would run for the opportunity. If the Pittsburgh Steelers say, hey, see, we got this opportunity, play interior defensive lineman for Mike Tomlin next to Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt, I would run for the chance. Why ain't Aaron Rodgers running for the opportunity? What is it about that situation that gives him pause? That's what I can't figure out. He was ready to bail and go to the New York Jets. He told us early March 2023, yeah, my intention is to play for the New York Jets. Mm-hmm. Why the hell haven't we gotten that with the Pittsburgh Steelers, bro?
I don't get it.
The Minnesota Vikings seemingly took it off the board last week. They're not in the Rodgers business right now. What are you waiting on?